Welcome to the Couples Expert Podcast with Stuart Fensterheim, LCSW, your source for the latest tips and practical down-to-earth advice on creating emotionally connected, thriving relationships. Now, here's Stuart.
Hi there, and welcome to the Couples Expert Podcast. This is episode number 2. I am so excited to be here today. I am thrilled to be able to talk today about a topic that I'm very passionate about. This is the 5 steps to creating a loving, caring, wonderful relationship with your partner. And what's more important than that? My wife and I have just gone and spent a nice, enjoyable evening last evening at the Arizona Coyotes game there at Gila River Arena. And what's interesting about that is that I also do some work on the Gila River Indian Reservation, and I did not know that they had purchased the arena and had funded it for the Coyotes. And what made it even more fun is that the Coyotes won yesterday in overtime. And I try very hard, at least once a month, to do something fun and that's a little bit different. And she was able to get some tickets through her work, through her credit union, where we were able to sit and just enjoy each other's company at the Coyotes game. And I got to meet some of the people that she works with, which is fun for me because I don't typically get to meet and see how they interact and what they're like. So I got another sort of perspective of her that just had me feeling just really good about the two of us and our relationship, that she would do something this special for me, knowing it's something that I really wanted to do for quite a while now. But let's talk today. It actually fits with our topic a bit, because today, in this episode, what I'd like to talk about today is some steps in some 5 areas that will help people create loving relationships with their partners. My wife just walked into the room that I was recording this podcast, and she heard me saying that the Gila River Reservation had purchased the Coyotes Arena, and she wanted to let me know that, whoops, I said something incorrect. Wives have a way of wanting to let you know that. And what the accuracy is that they gave some funds so that the name can be changed and that they didn't purchase the arena. So I am corrected again. And because our relationship is one that can handle that, I sort of smiled as I was recording that when she informed me of this. What's most relevant about that is the awareness that normally that would trigger me greatly, and we could have gotten into an argument about why she always has to correct the things that I misspoke. But being aware of my triggers and being aware that she is so important to me and I am so important to her allowed me to just recognize what happened and let it go. This is an essential part of what we need to do in any relationship, is recognize when you're being triggered, but it doesn't require that we always respond to our triggers. That's a very important skill to learn, and one that I'll be talking a great deal about at other podcasts. Before I forget, I wanted to make sure I let you know that all the notes for my podcasts can be found on my website, which is www.thecouplesexpertscottsdale.com. If you go to my blog, all the notes for my podcast can be found right there. So you don't have to take notes or do anything to remind yourself of the material that I will be talking about, because you'll find it right there on my website. So check my website out. Come on out and get the notes. I also want to ask that if you're interested, please feel free to subscribe to my podcast on iTunes, and that's the Couples Experts podcast. I am excited to talk about this topic today for a couple of reasons. One is it is based on an article that I had written a couple of months ago that did get syndicated, and I just recently has started doing some blogging and writing, as most of you know, and to be picked up by a number of different sites as an article that they want to put on their site was pretty thrilling for me. And it was picked up by eHarmony, Psych Central, and a couple others. So if you want to check the article out, feel free to go to one of those websites, Google my name, and you should be able to get the article. But what we're talking about today is going to be the 5 steps for having loving, caring relationships. What I'm hoping to do with the podcast is to give you a couple of general areas to focus on in your relationship. And by doing that, should be able to bring your relationship much more into the realm of where you and your partner both feel significant and important to one another by paying attention to these 5 areas. These are 5 critical areas that if you work at creating these areas to be the areas that you make important, you should be able to have a relationship that you feel very connected and attached to your partner with. Sounds like a big sort of statement, and it is, but I think that these are the areas that when people really pay attention to how they feel, pay attention to how their partner feels, they should be able to look at these areas and with some focus be able to really create a relationship where you feel special to the people who are important to you in your life, significant partners. But if we know how to get there, and I think that is the number one issue that comes up time and time again for me and in my practice, is people feel like relationships are a guessing game. What I want to tell you is that that's not true any longer, that we really do have a map and a plan and a way to accomplish the goal, that if you follow the guidelines, some of the guidelines that I'm going to begin talking about today, these are the things that are absolutely critically necessary in order to have a relationship that you can be so incredibly proud of, that you want people to be around you and your partner, that you look forward to being in public, that your children see the relationship that you've created, and they say to themselves and they say to their friends that they want a relationship just like the two of yours. This is also true if you're in a blended family and the relationship that you may have had with your children's mother or father was not one that was healthy. Children can see the change that comes from the efforts that have gone into creating these loving relationships with your current spouse or your current partner and say, wow, I'm really proud of my mom and dad that they've been able to create a relationship with someone new in their life that is so loving and caring. I want a relationship just like theirs. Now, that's something to really feel good about. And this is what it requires. It requires taking these steps to accomplish that. Now, the first step, which is not something that we've heard time and time again, but I want to clarify it a little bit, is the first thing that you and your partner have to create is that you and your partner must truly be best friends, not just in words, but in action. Being best friends means being there for each other. Being best friends means that you know your partner better than anyone else. Think about your best friend. If you think about your best friend, it's someone that you spend time with. It's typically someone that when you spend time with that person, it feels easy. There isn't a lot of effort that goes into spending time with your best friend. You just do it. You do it as often as you want, and you do it as often as you can. And when you're together with your best friend, it's not hard to talk to them. Now, what makes that so easy typically is that you feel incredibly safe with your partner, with your best friend. When you're with your best friend, you just share the things that are going on for you, and you don't ask yourself, will I later regret sharing this? Because even when you share more than you necessarily want to, you feel really secure that they're going to honor that, respect that, and even in times of stress, you don't worry that they're later going to share it with people that you don't want it shared with. You don't worry about them turning the information that they now have on you. You don't worry that in the middle of an argument, they may then say to you, look, remember when you told me this? And then use that and manipulate that information to have a hurting impact on you. Because part of having a best friend is knowing that they've got your back, knowing that they will protect you in all ways. And you don't worry about that. You don't even talk about that. You don't even think about it because you have enough experience with someone before they're your best friend, before you call them your best friend, that it's been tested time and time again, and they've come through for you. So what does that mean as far as a relationship goes? First and foremost, I think it means that you need to have a relationship with someone that you have lots and lots of experiences with them that can prove to you time and time again that they can be trusted and that they're there for you. Now, what that means as far as a relationship goes is it's not someone you've just met. It's not someone that you have fallen head over heels in love with and know that this person is for you. It's someone that you have slowed things down, have experiences with them over a period of time. So that what that suggests to me is that lots of people, and I've seen some in my office, who come in and say they got swept away, got married, they were sure this was the person for them forever and forever, and now they're sitting in my office saying, we don't know what to do. We're stuck. Part of the issue is they went way, way too fast because being vulnerable with someone, sharing your insides, sharing what matters, and testing the waters is an integral part of having a relationship that is going to last forever. Finding out if you have similar interests, finding out what each person likes to do, talking about things, talking about the things that matter to you, talking about controversial subjects that you may wonder how are they going to deal with that. But with a best friend, you just do it time and time again over a period of time that allows you to just keep getting your feelings verified that this is someone you can count on. So being a true best friend, talking over long periods of time, talking with them, doing things with them, sharing experiences with them, just the two of you. The second principle that I wanted to talk about has to do with believing in the power of love. That sounds very corny, but very apropos, because I think what we have to remember is that because we all need that love is an essential part of what we all need in our life, that it has the ability to transform us. Having someone that is that special to you and that you feel so incredibly special to them allows you to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do, take risks that you wouldn't ordinarily take risks, and allows you to feel that you deserve to have a relationship that is successful and strong, that you can dream and fantasize about your relationship and how beautiful it is and how it just really can make both of you to have the most glorious life together, believing you can conquer anything. An example of this is going for a raise at your job or asking for a promotion. Most of us are really scared to do things like that. But if you're in a relationship that truly is working, you allow yourself to do that. You allow yourself to take the risks that you ordinarily would not take. And the only thing, in my opinion, that is different is having a secure, loving relationship. Having that security and the knowledge of being special to one person, one very special person, will allow you to feel stronger. I recall when I met my wife, one of the feelings that came up for me was really believing that finally I believe that I can offer someone in my life something that no one else can. And that's me. That you are something special. And if you have someone in your life that also believes that, together your love will then create having a relationship where both of you take risks, grow as a person, grow as an individual, take personal risks. One of the things that I've done recently is the blogging and writing. I absolutely know the reason that I've been able to do that, and that was a scary venture for me. Writing has never been easy for me. In school, it was the one area that I was humiliated and embarrassed by, was my writing skills. But through the security and the love that I now feel for my wife, I was able to start blogging, and lo and behold, people responded to it. People not only responded to it, but they said that it was good. It was readable. It helped them. That makes me feel so powerful as a person. And I know that the only reason that I was able to do that was because of the love of my wife. What comes along with that is the need to then acknowledge that love, to help each other feel special and important. Guys, one of the things that requires is romance. Don't minimize it. Don't make fun of it. Allow yourself to be romantic. Both men and women have that in them. And we all need to express that part of ourselves, that romantic part of you that can offer your wife, your girlfriend, your partner something very special, knowing how much you care. You want to express that love every day of your lives together. You do that by going on dates, having a date night, getting greeting cards when you're at the grocery store, buying each other flowers and gifts, sending emails, putting sticky notes on the bathroom mirror. I recently wrote an article that just was released in my blog about rituals in a relationship. Those are very important. And if you look at that article on my blog, you will see some of the suggestions that I make on how to express your love for your partner. Small gestures mean a lot. My wife periodically will drop a Tic Tac tube in my car. She'll leave it for me and not tell me that she's leaving it. She goes to work, and lo and behold, I usually go after her. And as I'm pulling out, I reach over and I see this Tic Tac. It brings the most incredible smile to my face. Now, why does it do that? The reason it does is because it lets me know a couple of things. One, that she took the time and energy to go to the store, pick out the Tic Tac, and then surprise me with it. that energy that she needs to do in order to accomplish that small act, I feel so terrific about. It just brings a smile to my face every time. And I pick up my phone, I'll text her or I'll call her and just tell her how much I love her. Those simple things do a lot. Now, one of the things that I hear quite often from people is, I want to do those things, but I don't remember. I can't remember. I'm so busy during the day. I have work and meetings and all of that. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. And the reason I don't buy it is because when something is important to you, you remember. You don't forget to go to work. You don't forget to pay your bills generally. You don't forget to show up for an important meeting that you know if you don't, you could get fired for. Well, guess what, guys and ladies? You can't forget this either. Now, we all have smartphones these days, at least most of us, and alarms on our phones and notepads on our phones. What better place than to make reminders and to set reminders to go, Siri, remind me to give my wife flowers tonight. And Siri will do that. She'll put an appointment reminder right on your iPhone. So there really is no excuse. Those simple reminders and the reassurances that come along with those are clearly vital to developing a deep bond. If you want a deep, significant bond, you have to be mature about this. You have to take responsibility for making sure that your partner knows how much you care and love and how much time and energy goes into your thoughts about them, even when you're at work. This is especially true with anniversaries and birthdays and the holidays. But what I want to say about this is don't wait for those days to do something special. Make yourself a list of things you would like to do throughout the year to show your partner how much you care. And then periodically, just out of spontaneous thought, do one of those. There's nothing more important to your relationship and nothing that will bring a bigger smile on your partner's face when they know that you have thought about them and carried out something just because they're special to you. The next principle I want to talk about is the one about never stop courting your partner. Do you remember when you were first dating your wife or girlfriend? Did you ever complain how late you were up or how tired you were? I remember staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and getting up at 6 and never missing a beat. I think most of us remember those times. You were too excited to go to sleep. It was just so much fun just talking and get to knowing them. You need to do the same things. You need to really realize that you have to keep courting each other. I have a bone to pick with you ladies. A lot of ladies think that it's up to the men to do that. I absolutely disagree and think that women need to do and take more of a stance with this. I think that courting is different for men and women, and I think us guys need to know that the things we're doing is making a difference. So if you're not someone that is going to go out of your way to do things like sending flowers or cards to a guy or sending something to them that they know is special, you need to get to know them. We're incredibly observant. Every little nuance we recognize. Probably one of the funniest stories is my wife came home after getting her hair done and was excited to come and show it to me. And when I didn't make any comment, she turned and said, "Do you notice anything different?" And I hate to admit this, but no, I didn't. And I made a comment about her nails. She was really hurt by this, and it became somewhat of a laughing matter. And now whenever there's something that I'm sort of absent-minded about, she reminds me of the day that I didn't have any idea what was going on. When she asked me about her hair, my first reaction was, okay, I didn't notice. What's the big deal? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized what's the big deal about it is that I matter to her. And my opinion matters to her. So me not noticing means the person who is the most important person to her, not noticing her, not noticing who she is, what she does, the efforts that she puts in, really has a significant impact, mostly because I am so very important to her and I matter. And just feeling and recognizing that, wow, that's a pretty impressive thing that there's someone else out there. There's someone out who I matter that much to, and that my opinion matters that much to, and that I can have a deep emotional impact on her, has me feeling so significant and important. It just makes my day every time I realize that. I think this next step, which is to be emotionally available and vulnerable with your partner, is one of the most important steps and one of the most difficult ones to accomplish. I think it becomes difficult because all of us get caught up in these cycles in our relationship where we begin to feel that we need to protect ourselves from our partner or they were going to hurt us. And just believing that piece is pretty sad if you think about it, that you would worry that your partner will hurt you deeply. But this does happen when relationship cycles are at play and are active. And one of the things that is so important in a relationship is to be able to be emotionally available and vulnerable. The question that a lot of people ask themselves, truly, if we go get through some of the crap that people do and say to each other that truly are not really saying what they want to say, people are asking each other, are you really there for me? Am I with someone who I matter to so much that when it really counts, when I really need you there, will you be there? Probably the best example of this is people that are very busy and something happens in someone's life that they really feel fragile and wonder whether or not their partner will drop everything for them. Unless you know beyond any shadow of the doubt, on my website at www.thecouplesexpertscottsdale.com, I'm going to have a questionnaire that two people can answer, and it's called the ARE questionnaire, or R, and it stands for accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement. Those are the three areas that we know in any relationship we need. We need to know that our partner is reachable and accessible when we need them, but not only that I can get to them, but when I do need someone, that I can reach for you, you'll be there, but just being there is not good enough. I also have to believe that you're going to be responsive to me. You're going to respond to what I need in the way that I need you to, and you're going to engage with me, meaning we're going to be able to have an interaction. You're going to stand by my side and give me the support that I need in the way that I need it, not in the way you think that I might need it. This is someone who's accessible to you, responsive to you, and going to engage with you in the way that you need. If you have those three areas, we know that most relationships are going to be in a good place. The dilemma is that those three areas aren't always true if the cycles that we have in a relationship are active and working in a way that doesn't allow us to feel safe and secure and be vulnerable with our partners. I think we also need to be aware of the little things that people do that will also tell us that they're there for us. Things like your wife who may cook and do most of the cooking for you every day, never complaining about it, but it's just part of what she does. Being able to be aware of that, being able to acknowledge that, and also to expect that your wife will likely say, or girlfriend or partner, it's not always the wives that do all the cooking, I want to make sure I say that they'll likely say, it's not a big deal, it's just something I do. But you need to reinforce for your partner that you are aware it's not something that they have to do. It's something they choose to do. It's something that is a way that they show their love for you by taking an active role in the relationship and doing things because they love you. What's the important piece of this is that you acknowledge how meaningful it is to you and that you are aware of the things that they do. I think some of us who have been married previously, this becomes easier at times. Sometimes people struggle with this piece, but I think those of us that have been in relationships that have not given us the emotional needs that we've wanted and needed, when we have people in our lives that now do things out of the love that they have for you, you then can really appreciate the smaller things and how meaningful the small things are. My wife doing my laundry, for example, I'm amazed every time that she does it. And it's not a big deal for her. But in my last relationship, that never occurred. I never had someone who would, just for the sake of being in the relationship with me, doing the small tasks that people ordinarily do, and do it graciously and with good spirit. And it's part of how she shows me every week how much she cares, because she does that. And I recall when that first started, and I noticed some of those things and acknowledged those for her. She poo-pooed it and said, not a big deal. But for me, it was such a big deal. And I let her know how much of a big deal and how appreciative I am of what she's doing. And also let her know that I will always comment on the little things that she does, because I will always notice them. And I think when someone feels noticed in that way, the love that they have for you just skyrockets. The last area, which I think is one of the more important areas, is you must have fun together. You must do things together that just is fun. When you can begin to feel that this relationship that you're in brings you joy and fun, who would ever want something different? This is such a critical piece of creating long-lasting, loving relationships, is that the two of you have part of your life always having fun together, and that the two of you recognize that it is because of the two of you that you create the fun, because of the power and the energy that is in the relationship. Bringing up old stories and memories and jokes that you have about situations that you've come into and wanting to share those with your partner, and having your partner feel that you absolutely want to share it just with them and no one else, really helps how you begin to define yourself and how you look at yourself in this relationship and how you look at each other. And the other thing that I think we have to talk about is that our relationship becomes a separate entity sometimes, and how we look at our relationship and how we define it for ourselves and the meaning we attach to our relationship is one of the more important things that happens. If you look at your relationship and define it as a miserable, unhappy one, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will continue that way. But if you look at your relationship as one where love is expressed, courting goes on, you're able to be vulnerable, you have fun with your partner, there's no one you'd rather do things with than them, this is such a powerful thing. And the more you define your relationship as a joyous, loving place to be, the more secure it becomes. And what is absolutely necessary for this to happen is to each of you, both people who are in the relationship, have to take ownership and responsibility for creating this. It can't be one or the other. It needs to be both. It needs to be both of you making a commitment to yourself to make sure that your relationship has these 5 elements. And if you do that, I guarantee the love that you will have will be lifelong lasting. Take care. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to today's episode with your host, Stuart Fensterheim. You're one step closer to reigniting that fiery passion with your partner. For more information and your 30-minute free phone consultation with Stuart, visit www.thecouplesexpertscottsdale.com. We'll see you next time.